Welcome to Two Doctors Homestead. My name is Daniel. Want to talk about some self-sufficiency here. I know it's sort of out of the normal realm of what you might call prepping or homesteading, but I think it really falls well into those categories. People don't talk about it a lot, but I think it is worth looking at, talking about, and I want to share some information, share a book, share some tools, some things you might want to think about. I think it's good information, could save you a lot of money. So let me get into the story here. I drive an older truck. You guys have probably seen bits of it in the videos if you follow the channel. We did drop a whole slideshow on Instagram. I'll talk about that later. But I got my old truck, right? Love my old truck, been driving it 18 years, and I'd love to keep driving it. Started having issues. It was overheating when I was on the freeway. AC hasn't been working. It's just not been running great. So I figured, okay, it's time. I'll take it to the shop, right? Take it to the shop, at least have them take a look at it, tell me what's wrong. And to me, that was worth it. The shop I took it to charged $400 for the diagnostics. They wanted $6,000. $6,000 to fix the truck. I'm like, wow, $6,000 to fix it. So they did give me the diagnostics. They gave me the list of things they would fix. So I got online, started looking at the parts, right? And you look at all the parts and added it all up, and it was about, say, $600 worth of parts in total, and they wanted $6,000. So you're talking 10x for the labor, 10x to do the work, basically cost of parts over labor. What else would there be, right? Parts and labor. So I'm looking at it. I'm a DIY guy. I love doing DIY. I'm not an expert mechanic, and I didn't film how-to videos as I went through. As I said, I did a slideshow. I just took some pictures of me taking the truck apart, putting it back together, but I'll give you the list of parts I ordered. Coolant overflow recovery tank, engine cooling fan motor, upper radiator coolant hose, lower radiator coolant hose, radiator, replace the radiator, cooling fan assembly, dry belt water pump, thermostat, AC accumulator, AC compressor, AC condenser, AC discharge line hose. So those are the general parts I ripped out and replaced. Took me 3 days. I did order the parts on Amazon. Nothing against Amazon, but at least for this time, for my experiences, most of the parts I ordered didn't fit, right? So that's a cautionary. I was able to return them. I had to go to the auto parts store, which is going to be more expensive. That's probably about the most expensive way to go, is ordering your parts from the auto parts store. Now I've got friends that say they've ordered parts, don't work off the Amazon parts. It was great. For me, in this case, it did not work very well. But that's where the DIY comes in, right? That's where the self-sufficiency comes in. $6,000 versus $600. Now I'd have to buy some specialized tools, but still, I mean, you can't compare that. Sure, it was 3 days worth of work, but I saved myself $5,000 doing the work. And that's where the self-sufficiency comes in, whether you're prepper, survivalist, homesteader, being able to do that kind of stuff. That's a huge difference, right? That's a massive financial savings. I think everybody is just charging so much for labor right now. So a couple things I wanted to share. Now you may be very familiar with these, you may not. Maybe it depends on what generation you're from. It's Haynes Repair Manual. There's a couple different groups that make these, and this is based on a complete tear down and rebuild. It's essentially an instruction manual for taking your car apart and putting it back together one piece at a time. So if you've never seen or heard of one of these, they're out there. I'll say out there for every kind of car, but maybe not. Maybe there's some cars that don't have them. But this is a great resource. And you might say, hey, I'm just going to go on YouTube, and there's a lot of great YouTube videos out there, but I think something like this has that advantage of you put your hands on it. You've got the book. You're not necessarily fully reliant on the internet and what you can find on YouTube. And the same reason I did not try to make videos as I was doing this. So I took pictures, slideshows out there, ripped everything out, right? Pulled a lot of stuff out, put a lot of stuff back in. On the About the Manual, I'm going to read this part to you. I think it's important. The purpose of this manual is to provide comprehensive, useful, and accessible automotive repair information to help you get the best value from your vehicle. It can do so in several ways. It can help you decide what work must be done, even if you choose to have it done by a dealer, service department, or repair shop. Provides information and procedures for routine maintenance and servicing. It offers diagnostics and repair procedures to follow when trouble occurs. We hope you use the manual to tackle the work yourself. For many similar jobs, doing it yourself may be quicker than arranging an appointment to get the vehicle into a shop and making the trips to leave it and pick it up. More importantly, a lot of money can be saved by avoiding the expense the shop must pass on to you to cover its labor and overhead costs. Added benefit is the sense of satisfaction and accomplishment that you feel after doing the job yourself. However, and this is an important warning, this is why I want to read it, this manual is not a substitute for a professional certified technician or mechanic. There are risks associated with automotive repairs. The ability to make repairs on a vehicle depends on individual skill, experience, and proper tools. Individuals should act with due care and acknowledge and assume the risks of performing automotive repairs. All that stuff's true. It's a good warning, right? There is a certain amount of skill required. I'm not an expert. I feel like I did a lot of work on the truck, hopefully extended the life by years. And this book helped tremendously. Honestly, it really did. Just the opening of the book, right, in terms of the kind of stuff you're going to see in here. First couple pages is how to read the VIN number, and the VIN number gives you some useful information about the car. It's not just a random number. So on the models covered by the manual, engine codes. So if there's a K, it's 3.7 liter. If it's an X, 3.9 liter. Models covered by this manual, year code, so you've got the years. So there's more in the VIN number. It's not entirely a random number, and it actually tells you about the car itself. Transmission identifier, axle identifier. So if you're not sure some of the information of what kind of car you have, you can actually read the VIN. And once again, this is written specifically for Dodge pickups. They have a lot of them out there depending on the year and whatnot. Diving into the book a little bit more, you got maintenance techniques, tools and working facilities, talks about things like tightening sequences, procedures, talks about your bolts, your nuts, that kind of thing, and then custom tools. And I said there's parts in the book where it says, hey, this takes a special tool, and it actually walks you through some of those special tools. And I had to buy a bunch of special tools. Honestly, I still saved a tremendous amount of money even buying the special tools and the parts, things like how to repair damaged threads, jacking and towing, boosting your battery, how to do a jump on your battery if you don't know how to do that. Talks a little bit about chemicals and lubricants, different kinds of conversion factors. Safety first, certainly safety is important. And an interesting caution, I don't remember seeing this on the YouTube videos, they had a note in the book which said, make sure you disable your airbag before you pull the radiator out, because there's a sensor in there and you might trip the airbag. So I saw that, I'm like, whoa. So go to the section in the book, tells you how to disable the airbag. So there's a lot of good information in here. I don't remember seeing that on YouTube, right? It's got a troubleshooting guide, so if you're not sure on issues, as I said, I took it to the dealer just to get a sense for everything that was wrong for it. I could have probably just gone through the troubleshooting guide, saved some money. They did charge money for that, but I want a professional opinion on what was wrong. A lot of good information on troubleshooting. If you have any issues, what might the issue be, how to do tune-ups and routine maintenance. There's a ton of routine maintenance you can do if you're willing to put in the elbow grease, right? How to change the fluids, a lot of stuff on that, maintenance schedules, a lot of great maintenance information. I want to keep jumping here a little bit because there's more to the book than just maintenance. As I said, this really covers how to take your entire car apart and put it back together. So you got a section on the engines, and we're flipping through electrical system, cooling, heating, engine overhaul procedures, more on the engine. Electrical systems is in here. Now there's emissions and engine control, and then you've got OBDI diagnostic trouble codes, and this says gasoline engines. They've got all the codes, and if you're not familiar with the OBD, you can actually buy a sensor, and I got this one online. Wi-Fi Super OBD supports all OBDII protocols. So there's a little connector in the car and this will connect in. This one connects to my phone. There's a whole bunch of different shapes, sizes, types out there. But if your engine is throwing codes, and this is what a lot of the shops do, they just read the codes, and it can tell you what's wrong with the engine. So I've got this. You can get them. They're not super expensive. As I said, this just plugs in, connects Wi-Fi. There's ones that have a device. If you're not sure, as this could be a good place to start, but you can get one of these, plug it in your phone, and then it gives you a code. Hey, code 24 is throttle position sensor, voltage high or low. Test the throttle position sensor. Right, so you got pages and pages of different codes you can throw, and where to start. And some of these even say, hey, what chapter to go to, what thing to look at. So you got a lot of pages, a lot of codes. Said sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes your car can tell you what it thinks is wrong, and that's certainly a good place to start. Right, so you absolutely can start with that. More emissions, engine control systems. So there's something else I want to cover in here. Tune-up, routine maintenance. What do we got? The OBI codes, manual transmission, automatic transmission, transfer case, brakes. You know, if you're into doing the brakes yourself, I got friends that do that. You've got troubleshooting brake issues. You've got replacing the brakes. It's the whole thing, right? You can really take your car apart, put it back together, suspension and steering systems, bodywork, upholstery, chassis electrical systems. And it actually has pictures. It's got pictures, codes, it's got warnings. This was the area I was in, chapter 3, you got grease on all the pages, and it talked through each system that I was ripping out. I took out the entire cooling system and the entire air conditioning system. So engine cooling fan, how to remove it, any kind of cautions, any kind of special tools you need, step by step, pictures, how to take it back, how to put it back together. So very useful. So I think maybe depends on your generation. You might be like, of course, I've seen them, I've got them, I know what they're for. Maybe you've never even seen or heard of these. I can't speak for everybody, but I think the world is sort of shifting away from this kind of stuff. And you can even note, I mean, it has that old book look and feel to it, but they're great books, right? I think that is important, whether you're prepper, survivalist, homesteader, self-sufficient, DIYer, or just tired of paying incredibly marked up fees and costs for absolutely everything. As I said, I was blown away. They wanted $6,000. If it was a couple grand, I might have gone for it. I wasn't going to pay that much, right? And I was able to do the work. It took a couple days, saved a lot of money, but yes, I got some specialized tools, still saved a ton of money even buying the tools and the parts, and you get that knowledge, right? You get that knowledge that you can take care of your vehicles. I think that's important to have, more so than just watch some YouTube videos. What if that's not available? Or as I said, I didn't see any YouTube videos that mention the trick about the airbag. And a book like this, there's a couple people that make them. You might want to think about it. Think about picking it up, the book for your car or truck, right? They have a lot of different ones out there. I think there's even a list in the back of all the different manuals they have. I mean, I think it should come with the car, right? They don't, and that's okay. The cars do come with a book that has some basic stuff in it, and acknowledge, and even read the warning, right? It's not for everybody. You do have to be at least somewhat mechanically inclined, but I don't pretend to be a mechanic. Was able to get through it, not bragging on that. But the book helped a lot. Having that information helped. And I said, always, knowledge is power. The way the world's going, I don't think it hurts to try, right? Step out of your comfort zone, as we talked about that before. If there's problems, see if you can solve them yourself, right? Everything is so outrageously expensive right now, you'd be surprised. You save a lot of money and maybe do a better job if you're willing to take the time and do it yourself. So hope that helps out. As always, thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.